The media cycle never seems to miss an opportunity to drag Meghan Markle into a story that has absolutely nothing to do with her. This time, it centres around the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the wave of speculation that followed. Instead of focusing solely on the legal process and the facts, certain commentators decided to pivot the narrative back to Meghan. And once again, the tone was telling. During an appearance on Talk TV, royal biographer Angela Levin made a series of claims about how Meghan would allegedly be feeling. When asked whether the Duchess might be celebrating another royal crisis, Levin said she believed Meghan would be terrified. Not concerned, not sympathetic, not distant. Terrified. Let us pause there. The suggestion that Meghan would somehow feel fear over circumstances involving another family member, particularly one whose controversies long predate her time in the royal family, is not just speculative. It is baseless. There was no evidence presented, no sources cited, just implication layered over insinuation. When host Jeremy Kyle pressed further, even referencing extreme associations in a provocative way, Levin quickly backtracked and refused to elaborate. Yet the damage was already done. The suggestion hung in the air, unsubstantiated but powerful in the way tabloid narratives often are. This pattern should look familiar to anyone who has followed the coverage of Meghan and Prince Harry over the past several years. A royal event occurs, a family controversy emerges, and somehow the Sussexes are woven into it, whether relevant or not. What is especially notable is the public reaction this time. Viewers pushed back. Social media lit up with criticism not of Meghan, but of the commentary itself. People questioned how anyone could possibly claim to know what Meghan thinks or feels. Others criticised the insinuations as reckless and attention-seeking. This is important because it signals a shift. The audience is no longer passively accepting narratives delivered without evidence. There is a growing awareness that speculation presented as insight is not journalism. It is commentary, and often it is agenda-driven. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's legal situation stands on its own. Reports have described deep concern within palace circles, and even references to potential political and military dimensions. According to commentary cited in publications like The Spectator, there is anxiety about what further investigations could reveal. Those are serious matters that deserve sober, factual coverage. Dragging Meghan into that narrative accomplishes nothing except reinforcing a familiar storyline that positions her as central to every royal storm. The reality is that Meghan and Harry stepped back from senior royal duties years ago. They relocated to California. They built independent careers and charitable ventures. Their daily lives, by design, are no longer intertwined with palace operations. So the idea that Meghan would be terrified about her own position because of another family member's alleged misconduct feels less like analysis and more like projection. It assumes guilt where none has been suggested. It implies connections where none have been demonstrated. And let us address the tone used. Words like naughty and nasty are not objective descriptors. They are loaded character attacks. When public commentators resort to language that sounds more like playground insults than professional assessment, it says more about the speaker than the subject. What is often overlooked is how Meghan has consistently chosen to avoid commenting on internal royal controversies. Even in moments when she and Harry were under intense scrutiny themselves, they rarely engaged in mudslinging. Their public messaging has focused on mental health, community work, and family. Prince Harry, in particular, has spoken openly about the need for accountability and reform within institutions, but he has also emphasized compassion and transparency. That is a far cry from celebrating a family member's legal troubles. If anything, one might reasonably assume that any family facing public scandal would experience a range of emotions that include concern, frustration, and perhaps sadness. That is human. It does not require dramatic embellishment. The backlash to Levin's remarks also highlights a broader fatigue with speculative royal commentary. Many viewers expressed frustration at what they perceived as attempts to remain relevant by attaching Meghan's name to trending headlines. That criticism is telling. Meghan Markle remains a polarizing figure in certain media spaces, yet she also commands enormous global support. When unfounded implications are floated on television, they do not go unchallenged. Fans, critics and neutral observers alike are increasingly vocal about demanding evidence. There is also a double standard worth noting. When other royals face controversy, the focus tends to remain on the individual involved. When Meghan's name enters the conversation, it often becomes about her character, her past, her intentions. The scrutiny becomes personal rather than procedural. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry continue building their post-royal chapter. From media projects to philanthropic initiatives, they have carved out a distinct identity separate from palace life. Their move to California was about autonomy and safety. It was about creating space away from relentless speculation. Ironically, commentary like this reinforces why that distance was necessary. When even unrelated events can trigger insinuations about her supposed fear or guilt, it underscores the intensity of the environment they left behind. Andrew's arrest and the subsequent reports about palace concern are serious matters that will unfold within the legal system. Accountability, due process and transparency are essential. But conflating that situation with Meghan's personal feelings or character does not add clarity. It adds noise. In the end, what we are witnessing is less about Meghan herself and more about the ongoing narrative machine that surrounds the royal family. Some commentators thrive on controversy. Some rely on provocation. But audiences are increasingly discerning. Meghan Markle has spent years being cast in roles written by others: villain, disruptor, opportunist. And yet, time and again, when accusations are examined closely, they often dissolve into opinion rather than fact. The reaction to these latest comments suggests that many people are tired of the same script. They recognize when a claim lacks substance. They question motives. They push back, and perhaps that is the most telling development of all. The narrative is no longer controlled solely by a handful of voices on television panels. It is shaped by a global audience that can respond in real time. Meghan and Harry's story continues to evolve on their own terms. They are parents, they are advocates, they are entrepreneurs. And despite the constant swirl of speculation, they remain focused on the life they have built together. Whatever unfolds in the legal proceedings involving Andrew will unfold based on evidence and the rule of law. It does not require the insertion of Meghan Markle as a supporting character in someone else's controversy. In moments like this, clarity matters. Facts matter. And resisting the urge to sensationalize someone's name for clicks or ratings matters too.